Have you ever wanted to have beautiful lips for your drawings? Good thing I'm back again to help you out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. One of the most requested things for the drawing series was how to draw a mouth, and that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so as always, let's start with the way you would normally draw a mouth. Not too bad, but if you want to make it look more realistic, I will show you a great technique how you can do that. First, draw a straight line that is about the size you want the mouth to be. And then draw a wave along this line. So start at the corner, draw a curve slightly below the line, above the line, below, above, and below again. This is going to be our guideline that we can still adjust if necessary. The reason why we made this wavy line is because if you look closely, our lips are not just flat surfaces. Our upper lip is slightly round in the middle and our lower lip is slightly round on the left and right side from the middle point. If you want, you can draw these circles as a guideline and then draw the top and lower lip following these circles. For the top lip, I drew the line somewhere in the middle of the upper circle and made the edges soft. And for the lower lip, I drew the line along the two circles. There are different shapes and sizes of the mouth, of course, so make the lips as small or as big as you want. This is just an example. And now we can erase the guidelines and start adding shadows. Adjust the lines of the lips until you are happy, and then let's create a shadow base. Since our lips are not flat but have points that are slightly higher, we need to add shadows accordingly. Here I want the light to fall down from the top but slightly from the right corner, so in this case start adding short lines along the outer edges and keep the middle area empty. For this tutorial I'm using soft pencil starting from 3B, so it's easier to blend and sketch things out. And then draw a few longer lines randomly that go over this empty area. This way we add more dimension to the lips since these are going to be the wrinkles of the lips kinda. Now take a blending tool, or as I always use, a Q-tip, and blend in the pencil along the outlines. Again, keep the middle area slightly lighter, but not blending too much there. The firmer you press, the more you blend the pencil immediately. Now you can go ahead and make the opening of the mouth darker, as this part doesn't get as much light as the rest. Next, take your blending tool and go over the outline to make the edges as soft as possible. And this is our base. From here we need to build up the intensity of the shadows to make the lips realistic looking. So for this step, focus on adding shadows starting from the corners. Since the lips have a round shape, follow this line when you add the lines. So add them in a curve to the left when you're adding them on the left side, and when you are moving towards the right side, make sure the curve looks to the right side. And in the middle, they are slightly straight. This way the lips will look three-dimensional. Blend them slightly in, and then we can move on to the next step. The Cupid's bow. This part is slightly above the upper lip. It has a gap and two higher points next to it. As I said in the beginning, the light comes from the upper right corner, so everything that is on the right side should slightly be brighter than the left side. So you want to add some more shadows to the right side of the Cupid's bow because it gets less light as the left side. And you want to add some shadows along the left side of the upper lip and just a tiny bit on the right side. Again, blend everything out with a Q-tip, and this is also going to be our base. Now we can intensify the shadows of the lips even more. Lightly line up the lips and make the opening dark by firmly pressing down a softer pencil. From here, add darker lines starting from this line the same way as in the beginning. Just this time, press down the pencil more firmly to create darker lines. Draw short lines for the upper lip and long lines for the lower lip. As you can see, I made the space between the lower lines wider than the upper lip. The direction of the lines that you create for the shadows really makes a huge difference. If you just make them straight, you can see that these lips look flat compared to the lips on the right side. So be sure to follow the shape of the object you're drawing. Also make the corners of the mouth dark. I made them looking slightly to the top so it looks like the person smiles a little bit. And now with a Q-tip, slightly blend out the edges following the outlines of the lips. But don't go over the middle areas to keep them brighter. As I showed you in the beginning, there is a small gap in the lower lip right in between the two circles I drew. This is where we also need to blend out the pencil to make it look more visible and three-dimensional. And again, time to intensify the shadows even more. Create a few more lines along the opening of the mouth, but make the space wider. To make the lips stand out more, we also need to add a shadow underneath. So for this step, use a soft brush again and add a shadow following the lower line. Blend everything out with a Q-tip by moving your blending tool in the shape of a curve. It needs to be wider in the middle than to the left and right side. Next, intensify a shadow just below the lips by pressing down the pencil slightly firmer. A good way to see if the shape is off is by turning the paper upside down. This way you can clearly see that the curve is not very symmetrical. To make the lips even more three-dimensional, you can take an eraser and erase a thin line along the lower lip. Here I'm using a kneadable eraser because I can form it into any shape I need. And to add more light reflections, use an eraser again and remove some of the pencil that is on the highest point of the lower lip and a little bit on the right side. If you look closely, we also have this bright line on the upper lip. That's why I removed some of the pencil there as well. Next, what we need to do is adding highlights the same way above the mouth by following the shape of the upper lip. You want to create a bright line right above the lips. This way the lips will stand out even more. I also slightly removed the shadow on the right side but made sure that it's still slightly gray. And from here we just need to add some final touch-ups. Add a little bit more shadows to the right side of the inner part of the cupid's bow, a little bit more shadow to the left side of the mouth, below the lower lip and in between the lips. If you want to learn to draw realistically, you really need to be patient and remind yourself not to give up. Because if you create the base for the drawing, it looks like nothing. You just add lines, blend them together, and you don't get the result immediately. Only after some time, when you start building up the drawing more and more, and then when you start adding highlights, light reflection and more details, only then you see that it actually makes sense and that you just need to be patient and take your time. At first, when I was drawing the lips, I had a system, but when I started adding more and more details, the steps were all over the place. And that's okay, because after some time you start to see what you need to fix, what you need to remove, to add, and so on. So it's okay if it doesn't look the same way or if you need more time, because drawing and painting is a process after all. And sometimes you plan out exactly how you want to draw something, but in the end it turns out differently. But that's okay, you might find things that you can fix, but you can also discover that you actually like it. So please don't get discouraged if you retry my tutorials and you fail at first. Just keep working on it, see what you might be doing wrong, and you don't even have to follow every step. Make it your own, make it your style. I still have to learn so much, but I still want to share my knowledge with you guys that can hopefully help you improve your art. Give the video a big thumbs up if you liked it and found it helpful, and comment down below what you would like to see next in this drawing series. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe for more arts and crafts related videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day and I will see you next week. Bye!